Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Black Logic. I just have a couple stories for you guys this evening when it comes to the news, but Elon Musk is the talk of the town. So, of course, tech mogul Elon Musk is causing quite a stir across the Atlantic, worldwide. His recent comments on European politics have drawn sharp rebukes from leaders like the French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Musk's endorsement of Germany's far-right Alternatives for Germany, also known as the AfD party, which he described as the last spark of hope for the country. He has been particularly incendiary about some of the things he's been stating, and this endorsement, published in an op-ed in Welt and Sonntag, even led to the resignation of the newspaper opinion editor in protest. So Elon Musk, ever since he have come on stage, has taken the position, co-head with Vivek Ramaswamy of the Department of Government Efficiency by the hands of Donald Trump, giving him this large task of cutting the deficit by at least $2 trillion, and we're expecting that to occur within 2 years. He has been more outspoken on world and international politics than he ever has before. Now, adding fuel to the fire, Musk recently conducted a poll on his social media platform X, asking whether America should liberate Britain from its tyrannical government. This provocative move has been met with widespread criticism, with many accusing Musk of undermining democratic institutions. Now, if I stated some things like that, nobody would even blink an eye. If you said something of the things that Elon Musk has stated when it comes to Great Britain, when it comes to Germany altogether, no one will blink an eye. But when you're one of the most influential men in the world, and you're the richest man in the world, a lot of what you say holds a lot of weight, if not all the weight altogether. Now, in response to his son's controversial actions, Elon Musk, we're talking about Elon Musk's dad, has advised the public to ignore Elon, suggesting that people don't have to listen to what he says. Now, again, we understand the very fractured relationship between Musk's dad and himself. So we have to take that with a grain of salt altogether. And we don't know what occurred when Elon Musk was a child, when he was a teenager, when he was an adult, when he was inside, outside of his father's home, or if they ever lived together. A lot of the things they've kept under wrap, even though I know that Musk's dad did an interview that a lot of people were hate watching, speaking down to Musk's dad altogether. And that's because of the popularity and the innovation that Elon Musk has brought to the table that has done a lot for the world altogether. But when it comes to family disputes, we really don't know what occurred. So I tend to stay very neutral on those terms. But again, that is what his father is stating. Donald Trump Jr. has landed in Greenland, coinciding with his father, President-elect Donald Trump, renewed interest in acquiring the territory. Donald Trump has been stating this, that we should acquire Greenland. And I wonder if it's about their natural resources, or is it to help their country altogether, or is this for America to strategically gain more land in a region where we really haven't had in a long while. Now, Trump Jr. arrived in Nuuk aboard Trump Force One, stating that his visit is purely personal, aimed at capturing video content for his podcast. He emphasized that he has no plans to meet with the government officials during his trip, and not stating that he will or he will not. Again, if you guys are not familiar with Trump Jr., there he is. But he will not officially meet with any government officials. Now, that is my conjecture because, again, he may have some friends or some buddies who are part of the Greenland government that we may not be privy of. I don't know if there's talks, but soon after your father makes these comments, now you're visiting Greenland. And it has me to believe, I really wanted to look at the natural resources that Greenland has, okay? So Greenland has many valuable minerals, including copper, gold, lead, precious stones, rare earth metals, titanium, and zinc. Greenland has coal deposit. It also has graphite deposits, uranium deposits. Don't forget they use uranium in nuke production as well. Greenland's capital banned uranium mining, okay, because they know what that's all about. But again, they have uranium. If they ever come to the United States of America, they may start that again. Greenland mine Colate or near, I don't know how to pronounce that name, in South Greenland. Greenland has placed deposit of heavy minerals. Yeah, so they have a whole plethora of different minerals throughout Greenland. And again, it just, it just coincides with what his father is stating. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump Jr. is over in Greenland, and we're not going to officially meet with any government officials. And again, I'm not trying to be biased here because I really don't know. But is this a coincidence? Who knows? I think more will come out later on as we find out the real reason why Donald Trump Jr. is there, okay? Because when we look at this, the timing of Trump Jr.'s visit has raised a lot of eyebrows. And again, a lot of people are speculating about potential diplomatic implications. Both Trump Jr. and Greenlandic officials have downplayed any political motives behind the trip. Is Greenland an independent country, or does Greenland fall under Denmark? I just have a question. That's the only question I have. Now, Meta Platform has announced the appointment of 3 new members to its board of directors, including Dana White, which is a billionaire. He's bringing billions of dollars to the table, and he's going to expand the Meta Platform. And here's another thing. Will there ever be UFC fights on Facebook where you pay a subscription just as well if you do UFC.com or Fury.com, all these different apparatuses that UFC has? Will you be paid a paid subscription or maybe a one-time fee if you're watching, let's say, UFC 307? You have all these UFC numbers. I'm just curious because what is the benefit of Dana White coming to the table? Well, he's an investor. He's a billionaire. He has a large conglomerate fighting company. So all of these can be beneficial to the Meta Platform. So the president and CEO of the Ultimate Fighter Championship is a well-known associate of President-elect Donald Trump as well. And with their relationship dating back to 2001, he has been a vocal supporter of Trump, speaking at multiple Republican conventions and appearing at various events alongside President-elect. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg stated that White's entrepreneurial success in building the UFC into a global sports powerhouse was a key factor in his appointment. And this move is seen by some analysts as an effort by Zuckerberg to strengthen ties with the incoming Trump administration, especially following Meta's recent $1 million donation to Trump's inaugural fund. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is doing all sorts of things. He quite recently got rid of fact checkers and now is taking what X does on Twitter, the community notes. He's doing that as well. And I had something up here and I was just looking at, and let me see if I can get back to where Mark Zuckerberg came out publicly. Okay, let me, if you guys haven't heard this, I'll let you guys hear this very quickly. He came out publicly about changing the way they fact check and switching over to community notes.
Something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content.
All right, I will not bore you guys any longer. We kind of get the drift, Mark. You are now taking on the same platform changes that Elon Musk did when he came in. He got rid of the fact checkers and he did community notes. We understand your stance on that as well. So again, and this is to gain favor with the Trump administration. So again, there's a lot of people turning the tide. There's a lot of people now changing their stance because Donald Trump is in office. And I don't blame them. I mean, he's going to be the commander in chief, and he's going to do a lot of bold things because of his ambition. So again, this may be good for the country altogether when we're talking about free speech. Now, I was reading something about should hate speech be banned, and is that violating free speech? Yeah, whether it be sexist or hate speech, or racist speak, or someone calling someone a derogatory term for a Jewish person, for an Asian person, for a white person, for a Hispanic person, and even for a black person. That's your free speech. But this is what I always tell people: you should have the freedom to say whatever you want to say. But the problem is the freedom of what may happen after you say said thing. Because when we're talking about freedom of speech, right, people will like to believe that you can say whatever you want to say and there are no repercussions. Yeah, law enforcement are not going to come up into your home and lock you up because you said the N-word, or you call someone a redneck, or you said something very deflammatory that offended someone. Yeah, you have the freedom of that. The problem is the repercussions behind someone's employment. Now, your employment in your job, your organization, your company has these guidelines, rules, and regulations. Whether is in your SOP, is in your workflow, is in your standardization, is in your SODs. Whatever business you work for, it's somewhere that derives on an ethical and moral value that they may not fend for. But that's what people are essentially fighting for. They're like, no, I should be able to say whatever I want to say and not lose my job. That's where people are hinting at. I understand. I understand why people are going with that. Now, Elon Musk's influence has extended beyond tech and business because, again, he's stirring the pot in European politics because his controversial stances on free speech, moderation on X, and the spread of unchecked information have European leaders debating tighter regulation for social media platforms in Eastern Europe, as well as Europe altogether. Musk's hands-off approach to content moderation clashes with the EU Digital Service Act. So again, in America, they're going to lift a lot of these restrictions. They're going to lift a lot of these bans. People are going to be free to say and post whatever they want. But in the EU, they're saying these American platforms, we still want these barriers in place. We want these virtual barriers in place. We don't believe in free speech the way the Americans believe in, because we know that because of history, that free speech or hate speech leads to terrorist acts, leads to violence, leads to fighting in the street. So again, this is some of the things that the European officials are stating, because they state also that this sparked fears about misinformation and the impact on elections. So as Musk spars with European officials, his unfiltered style continues to polarize public opinion. Now, I have no say-so on how Europeans run their country. And just as well as we put sanctions on China and certain Chinese companies and social media platforms in America, because this is America, we can do whatever we want to do, just as the Europeans can do what they want to do with American platforms. They can ban it, they can restrict it, they can put barriers in place, because again, we don't have to operate in that country as well. So again, I understand their stance in this, and I'm totally not against it. And we already kind of went over how Musk's father is totally against some of the things he's been saying publicly about the European nation. Okay. I don't know their childhood. I know he did an interview. I didn't look at that interview because, again, a lot of times we can be influenced with people and we may gain insight. Don't get me wrong. The interview may give you insight on their relationship, but a lot of time we can be stereotypical. We can be very biased based on the information. And my thing is, I'd rather judge someone on the content of their character and their actions therein, rather than what somebody tells me about them. Because again, you can be very biased. You can have these subconscious thoughts that come to fruition and come to the forefront of your mind when you look at someone, and now you're judging someone not knowing who they are, not knowing who they were, based upon what somebody said. Now, if there's proof, if there's evidence of some of the claims that his dad made, then that changes the story altogether. Now, I do want to show you guys a clip very quickly. If you guys can bear with me, I'm going to pop this up. I believe I bookmarked this, so give me 1 second here. And again, America, when it comes to the Midwest and the East, we are experiencing a very freezing temperatures. Like here in Texas, currently is 29 degrees. And earlier this morning, around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, it was around 23 degrees. And on Thursday, it's supposed to snow. So there's been a lot of things happening, especially on the East Coast, my hometown, DC altogether. But this particular story or this particular act is in Ohio. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but please keep calm. Don't allow this to happen, because there are going to be a lot of people sliding around, cutting people off. There's going to be a lot of accidents. If you can stay off the roads, because the ice are going to be covered with black ice, and black ice is clear ice because the asphalt is black. That's why they call it black ice. But this is going to be a lot of havoc. If you can stay off the streets, if you can order in, if you can go ahead and stock up on all your things, it's probably the best thing you can do if you're going to experience some of these freezing temperatures. But let me show you this small clip very quickly. Now, I guess my question is, did she deserve that? Now, being the person I am, she was very aggressive in her speech, but she didn't attack anyone initially, right? But she was very aggressive. She got out of a car. She stopped the car. The man came out just to ensure that, she wasn't going to be violent. So she yelled in his face, and she's been, profane with her language. He turns his back and she struck him, and he defended himself. That's not illegal at all. This is America. If you're going to strike someone, no matter the sex, and especially she was a very large woman, so she might have packed a good punch, but of course, she's not stronger than the man. A lot of you like, no, he shouldn't have hit no woman. But again, if you look at those accounts, I wonder what your stance on is. Leave it in the comments below. You guys have a great and wonderful evening. This is Black Logic.